Alright, what is up folks? So I'm giving you guys a massive trigger warning to start this video. Yeah, I'm bringing back this topic. Does this even fit in the screen? Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about how BBC has radicalized young men. And yes, I did watch the infamous Tucker Carlson and the Nick Fuentes interview. I was in the middle of eating my dog dinner and Bo's penis, but I stopped all of that just to watch the Tucker Carlson and the Nick Fuentes interview that was promised to me 3,000 years ago. Yeah, this is a serious problem. I've talked about this so much. I've talked a lot about the rise of trans, the dramatic rise of LGBTQ. Yes, and to all the white men who are watching this right now, you don't think this is a huge problem? Like, I'm talking about, at least 8 inches, right? Sometimes 9, 10, 11, 12 inches. And honestly, I did believe at one point, I think, in America, in Canada, in Europe, Australia, at one point, the overall racism in these countries, it was going down. Until a certain point, maybe late 1990s to the early 2000s. So it's gone down, now it's gone up like this. Now I believe, the level of xenophobia, of racism and discrimination is at an all-time high. It's just a lot of people, they don't want to talk about these things because they're afraid of being called a racist or being labeled as a white supremacist. They're worried about losing their jobs. They're worried about getting expelled from school. Yeah, and it is turning a lot of men gay. By the way, a lot of people have been asking me about Nick Fuentes in past videos. I think I made my opinions pretty clear. I don't think Nick Fuentes should be banned from any platforms. He should have the right to say whatever he feels like, but I certainly don't agree with him. But once again, right, so you have to look at it like this. I've talked about Candace Owens a lot, so I lost a lot of respect for Candace when I found out that, she talks a lot about, the black community. So, we have these issues in the inner cities, black on black crime, gang activities. She talks about a lot of good things. And I found out that, yeah, she was actually, unfortunately, a victim of a racially motivated hate attack from when she was back in high school. And she actually sued the school. And she actually won that lawsuit. And she was awarded, I don't know how much, it was a significant sum of money. So you were literally the victim of a white supremacist attack, but then you got on your knees for a super rich white man. So, well, good for Candace, at least you're set for life. So yeah, I did say, right, so you'll never ever find another person or anywhere in this world you will agree with this person on 100% of their viewpoints. Like I said, I certainly don't agree with a lot of Candace Owens' talking points, but now there's one point that I absolutely do agree is that, yeah, Michael Jackson, he's an innocent man, and I made that very, very clear. So yeah, Nick Fuentes, I'd said before, I mean, he's quarter Mexican, and I said why he's a 27-year-old. He's not looking to get married or have children. He's talking about the white population decreasing. I mean, he's not even a pure Aryan race. So Nick Fuentes is 1/4 Mexican. Yeah, I just found out from Tucker's interview, and Nick Fuentes has also said that he's a huge fan of Joseph Stalin. Well, I've said a lot about Joseph Stalin during my full-length 2 hours and 39 minutes monologue. So obviously, it was expected that monologue triggered a lot of people because, well, I said nothing but the truth, but a lot of people, they just simply can't handle it. And yeah, I talk about so a lot of the issues with white culture. I didn't know about this as well. So Nick Fuentes, he talks about this, anti-weed movement. It is absolutely terrible, terrible for young men. And so for the first part of my monologue, the first half, the first 1 hour and 26 minutes, I talk a lot about white culture, the fall of white society. Yeah, I covered this in passing videos, in live streams, and yeah, the weed thing. What was Justin Trudeau's agenda other than bringing, millions and millions of young military-aged men over to Canada from India? Also, yeah, that was his agenda. That was the campaign that he promised every single Canadian, I'm going to legalize marijuana throughout the country. And I still remember that day, October 2018. All these white boys, these 18, 19, 20-year-olds at Georgia College, they were like, yes, yes, yes. Oh, Justin Trudeau, you're our God. See, this is what happens when you're secular. This is what happens when you don't believe in God. Because if you don't believe in God, you don't believe in nothing. If you don't believe in God, you believe in anything. Well, in this case, you believe in Justin Trudeau, and you believe it clearly in the BBC because, yeah, listen, smoking weed is terrible, terrible for you. The vast majority of the time, it makes you extremely lazy. It makes you extremely unmotivated. I've seen this so much. I've been to these parties. I said, right, if you watch my full-length 2 hours and 39-minute monologue. So, yeah, These white people, they just, in the evenings and weekends, they go to these parties, they get absolutely stoned out of their mind. Then they just don't care about anything. They're more than happy to piss their life away. And yeah, that's 90% of the time. What happens the other 10% of the time? Yeah, it does cause illusions. It causes psychosis. And in some cases, these people get extremely violent. Have you guys noticed something? Okay. I did mention, yes, there are a lot of problems in the black community in the inner cities, gang activities, black on black crime. But however, there's one fact that you cannot dispute. Yeah, the vast majority of these serial mass killers in the United States, right? And once again, I'm not talking about some random isolated incident where one guy gets shot at a bar. I'm talking about mass shootings, right? The vast majority of the time, the perpetrator is a white male. And yeah, if you guys actually go down this rabbit hole a little bit, dig a little bit deeper, yeah, the vast majority of them, they're intravenous drug users. Not necessarily marijuana. I'm talking about, antidepressants. I'm talking about, they're getting destroyed by big pharma, cocaine, heroin, meth, fentanyl. They're all kinds of prescription drugs. And I mentioned this is so important. If you guys actually went back and watched my 47-minute video on China's century of humiliation, China was 100% destroyed by drugs. It was destroyed by the 2 opium wars. That is why in China, you cannot even find not even 0.00001 milligram of weed anywhere in China. There's no cocaine, there's no heroin, there's no fentanyl. Yeah, just go ahead and try. Try to smuggle drug into China, because you know what happens? If you're caught with drug trafficking in China, okay, it is guaranteed death, okay? Death penalty, guaranteed. No drugs in China. Yes, obviously, China has a lot of problems I talked about. The Chinese guys, well, I think that's the reason why they smoke their brains out, right? 80%, I would say, of the Chinese male population is smokes. Probably at 1 out of 3, maybe 30 to 40% of Chinese men, they smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day. It's terrible for you. And listen, it causes erectile dysfunction. I'm telling you, man, that's why so many of these young men are so depressed. And also, it makes your penis shrink, okay? It's going to decrease the blood flow to your third leg. That's why, a lot of Chinese guys, yeah, they're like this. That's their third leg. I'm telling you, man. So, I've seen over 20,000 Chinese penises at these public communal showers. This is what happens when you smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day. So, smoking is also very, very bad. That's why, throughout my entire life, I've never ever smoked a single joint of weed. I have never ever put a single cigarette in my mouth. I've never ever done any of these drugs. And I talked about this. You can go back to watch my full-length monologue, right? The amount of cocaine, heroin, roofies, mollies, prison wallet these white people are consuming. And by the way, these are not adults. I'm talking about between middle school to high school, 12 to 17-year-olds, both white men and white women. These people are, you're absolutely destroying yourselves. And yeah, think about what happens, right? I said your racism at one point it was going down like this, now it's going up like this. And please stop playing the victim card, right? The number one problem in your life is you, because what's happened is, especially the racism between white men and black men, it's gotten so bad. Well, these white men, yeah, after a hard day of work, right? Let's say, they work the morning shift like 7 to 3:30, and they get home and they take a shower. Now they're nice and clean, they're relaxed. Maybe it's 4:30 in the afternoon, and they order some pizza online. They open up a can of beer, they light up a joint of weed, and they're stoned out of their mind. Then they turn on their computer, they turn on their MacBook, they turn on their iPad or their smartphone, and they go to these websites and they watch videos of, Dredd, Mandigo, Shin Diesel, Jason Love, Richard Mann, and they watch these sweet, innocent white girls. Girls like Alina Koshka, girls like Ali Ray, girls like Spring Thomas, girls like Tori Black, and they're watching these sweet little innocent little white girls getting absolutely destroyed, getting absolutely impaled like this. So you don't think that makes these white men extremely angry? And yeah, you guys can deny it all you want, okay? How come when I'm mentioning all of these names of these actors and actresses, how come you guys know all of these names? And also, yeah, it's led to a dramatic rise of, the LGBTQ movement. Because think about what happens when you're watching, let's say, Jason Love and Ali Ray going at it, right? So are you attracted to Ali Ray, or are you attracted to Jason Love and this thing, right? So A lot of men, they don't even realize. And by the way, people start this movement very, very young. A lot of people, they get addicted on their iPads, on their iPhones at the age of, 12, could be earlier, could be 11, could be 10. I'm talking about, pre-puberty. And what happens, do you think, let's say you start watching this at the age of 10, and a couple years later at the age of 12, as you're going through puberty, you're thinking, oh, maybe I'm not actually attracted to Mia Makova. Maybe I'm not actually attracted to Emily Willis. Actually, I am really attracted to Mandigo. Maybe I'm actually attracted to Shin Diesel. Maybe I swing the other way around as they're looking at this. So it's turning a lot of these young white men gay. I'm telling you, that is exactly what's happening. And even if it doesn't turn you gay, obviously it's going to radicalize a lot of these young men. Imagine, if you're a below average, below par looking white man. I did cover white privilege, but there are also a lot of really, really ugly white men out there with absolutely zero hope. You're struggling to get a girl to talk to you. You can't get a date. Your life is absolutely miserable. You're incel. And after work, you just open up a can of beer. You start smoking weed, a little bit of cocaine, a little bit of heroin. And you're watching these beautiful little white girls getting absolutely stretched out by this thing. Of course, it's going to make these white men extremely, extremely racist. And yeah, that's why I said, racism, it was actually going down in the 1990s into the early 2000s. And now it's going up like this. I'm just telling you, the vast majority of white men, they absolutely hate black men now. Yeah, the BBC movement has completely radicalized these young white men. And yes, I do believe that a massive civil war is coming to all Western countries. Oh, and please, cut with the crap. Stop blaming, this is actually because of Zionism. Oh, this is because of some rabbi. Maybe you're trying to blame this on Rabbi Shmuley. By the way, I watched that interview, so... Who was it hosted by? Yeah, Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan hosted that debate between Candace Owens and Rabbi Shmuley. I will have to say this. If Rabbi Shmuley, if he's actually a comedian, if he's trolling, then I have to say that he's absolutely hilarious. If he's actually trying to troll people, if he's actually trying to troll Candace Owens, I would say that guy's trolling skills is 100% legendary. But yeah, Rabbi Shmuley aside, okay? Stop blaming this on other people. The number one problem in your life is you. The reason why you recognize all of the names I have mentioned, the reason why you know about this BBC movement, and the reason why a lot of you guys are getting angry at me right now is because it is 100% true. You are choosing to do this, okay? You're choosing to go on the internet to watch this, okay? I didn't force you to do it. In fact, I'm telling you the exact opposite right now. I'm telling you to get off of this stuff, okay? And also to the Chinese guys, yes, there's no drugs in China, but cut back on the cigarettes, okay? I understand life can be extremely stressful, but I mean, smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day, are you serious, man? Can you at least reduce it to maybe 1 in the morning before your shift, and maybe, one during your lunch break at work, maybe another one during your 15-minute break, then maybe one after work, and then maybe one before you go to bed. Maybe, instead of smoking 60 cigarettes a day, cut it down to like 5 cigarettes a day. Because, yeah, if you continue to smoke, 60 cigarettes a day, like so many of these young Chinese men are doing, instead of, getting this, you will get this. I'm telling you, man, that the SAD thing for Asian man is real. What is SAD, SAD? Yeah, small Asian dick. It's because, yeah, they're smoking their brains out. And also to all the white men, right? You keep saying that, this is all BS white guilt. White people don't have any money at all. It's the Asians who are actually wealthier than us. So I'm just telling you, okay? I will come back to the topic. By the way, that monologue, so I split into 2 parts, 2 hours and 39 minutes in total. Actually, there's going to be one more talking point that needs to be added on. I want to talk about China's economic miracle and why white and Asians live longer than blacks and Hispanics. I want to talk about the bankers as well. I know why I say the bankers. It's not what you guys think. It's very important. So I will conclude that video using the blackboard in November. It's also very important. Why do you think the average Asian American has more wealth than the average white American? I did say this. That is the only possibility for you to escape extreme poverty. I talked about the working hours in China. You work at 996. Typically, 72 hours a week. As a matter of fact, right now, right, I have a full-time job on top of building this channel. I'm working anywhere between 65 to 70 hours a week. Well, yeah, no shit. So if let's say, I have another white colleague, we're doing the exact same job, right? If he's working between 35 to 40, possibly 44 hours a week, and I am working 65 to 70 hours a week, well, yeah, no shit. So my paycheck is going to be pretty much a double his compared to my white colleague because I'm putting in twice as many hours. And that's why I'm telling you guys, right? To all the young men, you gotta get off of this BBC movement. It's radicalizing a lot of young men. It's turning them gay because they realize, oh, they're not actually attracted to Emily Willis. They're actually attracted to Jason Love, right? And also, yeah, get off of weed, right? Not just, you think, oh, maybe mollies are bad, maybe cocaine, heroin, those are bad, I stay away from those, and maybe I just smoke weed all day. No, it makes you extremely lazy, it makes you extremely unmotivated. That's right, how many Asian guys do you guys know? Even in North America, how many do you guys know that is addicted on weed? Because instead of, just smoking their brains out like this, so, imagine these white guys on the weekends. Yeah, bro. Whatever, man. I don't care. I'm so chill. I'm in a state of zen. I've reached nirvana. Oh, heaven. I'm staying humble. That's what all of these white guys are doing. Instead of doing this, what do you think these Asian guys are doing? They're working overtime, right? All of them are out there working the 996. They're working 70 hours a week. And you're just, sitting on your ass on the weekend doing absolutely nothing, smoking your brains out. And you're absolutely stoned out of your mind. So what do you think happens when you only work 40 hours a week and you spend the rest of your free time, just getting stoned like this and watching videos of this? And these Asian guys who are working, 70, 75, and 80 hours a week. Of course, the Asian guys will have more generational wealth than you. The only way to escape extreme poverty, listen, there's no shortcut to success in life. If you guys want to succeed, you have to work the 996. That is the only possibility for you to escape generational poverty. Especially to all the young white men, it's time to get off of this, man. Get off the incel copium. Get off weed. Get off BBC. Stop watching Ali Ray. Stop watching Alina Koshka. Stop watching Mia Makova. Stop watching these Natashas, these Beckys, these Olgas getting absolutely stretched out by black men. Stop smoking weed. Quit alcohol. Quit doing drugs. And turn your life around. If you have to pick up a second job, work 60, 70, 75, or 80 hours a week. That is the only way you can turn your life around. So thank you guys so much for clicking on this video and watching it all the way until the end. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification button. I will see you guys back on this channel on Friday night for Halloween for a very special episode on interracial dating. See you guys then.
Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now.